everyone, welcome to this episode of Context is King. I'm Rebecca Brayton, and with me as always is Watch Mojo founder and CEO Ashkan Karbasfrooshan to discuss following your passion, good advice or garbage advice? So, is it good advice or garbage advice?
My God, maybe I'm just on this extra rant and rage mode because it's Monday. Actually, it's Wednesday. So it's any day.
It's Monday.
It's Wednesday. Okay, look, it's not so much that it's good advice or garbage advice. I think it's like secondary advice. What I mean by that is, fundamentally, everything in society going back, centuries, if not millennia, is a function of scarcity, demand and supply. You can't escape that, right? Everything around us, rent, the price of these books, the price of your time, the price of my time, the value of a business, what I paid for these shoes, whatever you want, food, everything, by and large, is a function of the prime economic concept of demand and supply, scarcity. So, and that's not me saying it, that's just like basics, right? So, if you start off with that, and you don't disagree that scarcity drives a lot of things, when it comes to following your passion, that's secondary to not pursuing something where the laws of scarcity are so against your favor that would make your passion moot. Now, what do I mean by that? As human beings, we have very few needs. We need to eat, we need shelter, we don't want extreme heat or cold, pain or whatever. But then we kind of, depending on where you are in your personality, have a lot more wants, right? So those two frameworks is what you as an individual should actually ask yourself. Meaning, I have very few wants. I don't need a shiny car, I don't need flashy clothes, yada, yada, yada. So when I kind of asked myself when I started the business, I had a couple of jobs, but even going back to my first jobs, it wasn't like, what am I passionate about? It was more, I can probably make money easier if I do something that's not necessarily fun, and we've touched on this, I'm pretty sure, or I could do something that I really enjoy myself and I'll have to take a little bit longer to earn a living. But the reason why I could even have that conversation was because I didn't have all these crazy wants. And I was just like, so long as I pay my rent and so long as I have food, I'm good because life's short and I don't want to be miserable. Now if I was a different kind of person and I was like, I absolutely need the latest shoes, the latest phone, watches and accessories, then I would have said, screw the passion and happiness, just make money because right or wrong, some people are materialistic. But it ultimately, again, even that is secondary to this concept of scarcity. So when I hear people talking about passion, the general idea is true. It's people shitting on that concept because they go, the people that tell you follow your passion standing on a TED stage are people that made billions selling, aluminum ore or some kind of mineral where, there were some very young children working in a mine where they were losing their limbs. Once they make their billions,
these Instagrammers who are like, you should quit your job and travel the world, but their parents bankrolled them or whatever.
Or they're not even in an actual plane. They're like in a set in a basement that looks like a plane, right? But that goes back to wants and needs and all that. But so I think it goes back to, it's true, the people that generally tell you follow your passion are very unrealistic because they have the means, to do that. So I think this concept of follow your passion is again, bad advice from people that don't really walk in your shoes. I think people just have to embrace this concept of scarcity. Now, in the framework of scarcity, I think our homeboy Plato, the Greek philosopher, was onto something. This concept of principle of specialization, comparative advantage. I don't think I necessarily or you have one thing that you're better than anybody else, but by and large, there are some things that you're better.
Speak for yourself.
There you go. Okay, fair enough. I can probably talk more than anybody else on planet Earth. But the point is, there's always one or two things that you are better than 99% of the population. So I would say, focus on that, starting off. Then ask yourself, do the demand-supply dynamics work in your favor? Then once you have a short list of things that fall under things you're good at, things where demand-supply are in your favor, then you can focus on am I passionate about this or not, in the framework of, am I somebody that has these crazy wants? And I'm not judging you. If you absolutely need 15 pairs of shoes, you need 15 pairs of shoes, right?
You're saying 15 like it's a high number.
Exactly.
You don't want to see my shoes.
How many shoes do you have?
Shocking amount?
100?
No,
50?
maybe.
Okay, so that's pairs. Okay, so 100. You have 100 shoes. Okay. Yeah, so that's the way I would look at it, is comparative advantage, demand and supply. Are you a lot of wants kind of person? And then what am I passionate about? Follow that, you're happy.
Work is work, though.
Work is work, but I also think that we've come to a point in 2019 where a lot more people acknowledge that, like, that rat race in corporate, or even, like, you know, the millennials, people bash millennials, and millennial means so much. You could be like 38 now, so it's like, but younger folks, I like that younger folks actually say, I don't need to work.
Because they don't have the wants.
Yes, they don't have the wants, and I think some of it is being conditioned that finally in North America, they've gone through 9/11, these endless wars, the recession, where they're a bit, I mean, this is a weird comment, they're a bit closer to younger people around the world where they don't necessarily have the means to be able to do a lot of things. Like, historically, North American youth has had it easy compared to the young 3-year-old in Kenya or the 4-year-old in Indonesia. Like, let's not kid ourselves, right? So I think in that sense that there's been a few more hurdles than, like, a young person growing up in North America, where maybe they can't just be like, oh, I'm going to go spend all this money, because they also have student debt and yada yada. So I think the question of, are you passionate about something and should you pursue it, is like the third question to ask.
Interesting. Well, what do you guys think? Have you pursued your passion, or are you going for the money? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time.